Do you want to speed up your audio editing? Do you know about audio ducking? There's a nifty trick within editing software that allows you to automate your audio levels between a dialogue track and a music track. So for example, right now I am talking and there is music beneath me, and I have used audio ducking to automate when that music goes down between all the parts when I am talking and when I am not talking. So as you could tell just then, the music just came up and then went down again between the gaps of me talking and not talking. This is a setting that you can do in most editing software, and they all handle it a little bit differently. But here is how you do it in DaVinci Resolve and Premiere Pro. In DaVinci Resolve, in your Fairlight page, you want to go to the Dynamics section. So for your voiceover track, you want to double click Dynamics. So my voice is always put on track 1. And then you look in the compressor section, which is the middle lower area here. And all you need to do for your voice track is press send. And then you want to click on your music channel. So if you've got music just on the 1 track here, I have it on 6. You can click it for the dynamics to come up. Click on compressor so that it's actually reading your audio, and then press listen. So your music channel is now listening to your voice channel. And this is where you want to change your threshold, ratio, attack, hold, and release. This green line here interacts with the blue threshold line in that once the green music level hits the threshold, it brings the volume down to the ratio setting. So this is the threshold, and what you want to ask yourself is, at what point do we start to lower the music track? So it's currently, our audio for our voice is probably set at something like 9, I think. And so really we want the music to go down somewhere like 20, 21. And then the ratio is how much do I lower the volume? And that's where you'll see this green line that responds to the ratio change. The green line interacts with the threshold and it lowers it. And it's how much do you want the volume to change once the music hits that threshold. The attack, hold, and release is going to react to when it doesn't hear any voice. So it knows it's going to go back up to a volume that you've set, or if it needs to duck down because of the voice being played in the track. Attack, for example, starts automatically at 1.4. You will probably want to keep it exactly where it is. It's how quickly it will respond. The hold is how long it's going to keep the effect active for after it's heard the last bit of dialogue speaking on the first track. The release is how long it will take to get to its normal volume. So it's sort of like a fade. Once again, depending on what kind of hold and release that you want personally, it's a personal preference. You might find that you want your release to sit somewhere between 1200 and 1500. So as you can see here for my edit, I've kept my attack at the default 1.4, the hold isn't actually very long, and the release is what I would class as an average 1200. The ratio, I believe I'd had it around this before I played around with it earlier. The threshold is at 19 for this one. And if I play back and you just look at the mixes over here, the next shot is that train. So you saw in the mixer at the bottom right corner then that the voice track stopped, the music track came up in audio level, and then it went back down again when the voice came back in. And that is what audio ducking is. Audio ducking within Premiere Pro is a little bit different. If you go to the audio workspace within Premiere, you can then select what is your audio channel, and you go into Essential Sound and you can choose. If it hasn't automatically chosen dialogue, you can select dialogue. And then your music channel, it's the same thing, you can select. And then actually it has presets. So it'll be set to default as standard, but if you click on the drop down, you can actually go to balance background, duck against everything, hard vocal ducking, and smooth vocal ducking. You are very welcome to choose any of these presets, and you would just press generate keyframes and it will do all of that work for you. As you can see here, it has automatically created leveling with keyframes on your music track. If you didn't want to do it that way, you can click the ducking box yourself, and then as you can see, duck against, and you can duck it against just the dialogue, or you can choose to add in any others. So there is a sound effects track that I have in here that I could also click for it to duck against. And then you've got things like sensitivity, duck amount, and fades. So fade is basically your release option. So I would probably put this up to maybe 1000 rather than 1200 in this. We'll have a look at how long it takes. The duck amount is how many decibels lower you would want it to be than your voice track. And then the sensitivity is how it's kind of like the hold in that how sensitive it needs to be to detect the changes to the audio levels on the dialogue track. So it's determining whether it should dip or not and how often it should dip. So if the sensitivity was really low, it would be constantly adding in keyframes and bringing up your audio, and it would be really weird. So you don't want the sensitivity to be very low at all. It's automatically defaulting at 6. I would probably say the lowest to go would be 5, and then you would just generate your keyframes when you're happy with your options. And then you can see straight away the keyframes being created on your music track. This is a brilliant way for you to speed up some of your edits if you are doing something where you might be talking to camera with some music in the background, for example. This won't work for every type of edit, whatever you're creating. So for example, if you are making a drama, you probably won't be able to use audio ducking for that. But have a look at what you are editing, see if it's a place that you feel audio ducking could work, and give it a go. Our recent videos are all about basic editing skills that we believe you need to know. We wrote a blog about it, which is in the description below, but also if you want to check out those videos, there is the J and L cuts and what is A and B roll. Have a look and see what you think.